Republican Party is meeting in Southern California this weekend. KPIX5's Phil Matier and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown if the California Republican Party can regain some power in this state.
I would never discount the Republicans simply because, Phil, they usually have adequate resources, and those resources are never subject to being questioned, and they show up with candidates sometimes that fit the mold of where they might want to be. And we show up with a Democrat discussing climate control in an environment where nobody hears them.
Well, also, I mean, the Republican Party, at least in California, they hold a surprising number of school board seats and city council seats, any kind of nonpartisan elections that happen on a local level. They do a decent job of creating a bench of people. It's getting into those races where you got to put an R next to your name or a D next to your name, where they tend to have some trouble.
Is it healthy for California? You've seen it, the devolution of the Republican Party. The last one was Arnold Schwarzenegger was the last state office, but he was a party unto himself. Is it healthy for California to be a one-party state?
Well, you know me, I don't advocate opposition. so be very clear.
No, but you've always advocated a wolf at the door to keep everybody in line.
I would think, however, that the quality of this democracy depends upon really quality debates, and quality debates comes on an issue. Not these things we're doing on TV with these Democrats, but discussing the issues. We really should have informed persons doing those discussions, and in particular, the candidates. And it is not about what's behind your name. Melissa is absolutely correct. The nonpartisan process sometimes produces better results than partisanship.
Well, and also, but you know, if you're an anti-vaxxer or if you are a tech company, maybe you're concerned at how much overwhelming support the Democrats have, and maybe you want some other folks in there making decisions because they're finding right now that that having a sort of one-party control over the state lawmaking process is not necessarily going their way, right?
Mayor Brown, the fastest growing party in California is the decline to state, people that don't think they're Republican or Democrat. How do you harness that?
At some point, somebody is actually going to do exactly that. They're going to say, wait a minute, decline to state is where I'm going. And you proceed to say, oh, I was like Bernie Sanders. Oh, I was a Democrat at one time. I was a socialist at one time. I was a Republican at one time. I declined to state. All of those things because nobody offered me the opportunity that I'm offering you. That's the kind of campaign that'll win.
So in states when you essentially have one-party rule, the people that are considered moderates, for example, here in California, are some of those folks people that in other times would have been Republicans?
Well, in California right now, no. Right now, what is considered moderate is what might have been a liberal Democrat, because then you sort of have a progressive wing that's even further to the left. So what is a moderate Democrat right now in Sacramento is really quite over to the left. They all really do pull from the same financial backers and have very, very similar views. There's not a ton of daylight between progressives and moderates in Sacramento. There's some, but it really serves to give moderates
So true Republicans in California, a vanishing breed at the moment.
KPIX5's Phil Matier and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown if he thinks anyone else will jump into the race for president.
There's always that possibility. For an example, Tom Steyer said 4 months ago, I am not going to run. I'm going to impeach Trump or lead the fight to impeach Trump. 3 weeks ago, Tom Steyer announced, I changed my mind. So clearly there's an adequate amount of time for everybody if they can access the resources. And then there's also a clear indication of a desperate need. The demonstration that's going on with these 25 souls, 5 or 6 of whom already dropped out, including Howard Schultz yesterday dropped out. I'm telling you, the possibility is still there for somebody to come through like an Obama, or somebody like a George Clooney, or somebody to come through, or Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
Governor Newsom?
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
Oh, hasn't he already endorsed Kamala Harris, though?
What's that mean? I mean, what are you talking
You're right.
about?
Who cares?
That happened to me. Amiano endorsed me and then ran against me, if you remember.
I mean, what are friends for?
That's right.
But Gavin Newsom doesn't have the resources you would need, I think, to get in right
Wait,
now.
wait,
You need a ground game for Super Tuesday. I mean, the way the
minute.
primaries have moved up, you need a lot of things in place right now.
You need a cable camera. You need 24 hours. What do you
That's
need?
true.
You could really explode. Just think about it. If Oprah Winfrey decided tomorrow,
And she can
she's
self-fund.
in.
But she has the money to
Absolutely. If Mrs. Obama said, you know, I've been standing on the sidelines, and I really do think Biden needs some help, that would be an explosive ticket, and it would come long after all these crazy debates are over.
You know, now that's the second time that he's floated the idea of a Michelle Obama Biden ticket. So
Well,
that must be on his mind.
It is, but you know, Willie Brown, he does these things all the time. Remember, he said for a while that he thought Jerry Brown might jump into the race for president, or that Nancy Pelosi should be the next president. So this seems like the latest in sort of some trial balloons that he likes to float out there. Yeah.
And I really think that enlarging the field at this point is taking that trend in the wrong direction.
Well, yeah, but we could still see an independent person, maybe a self-funded person like a Mark Cuban, for example. But it's hard to know who could enter the race and do damage to President Trump, who wouldn't also do damage to the Democrat as well. Like who could get in to get those votes? It's going to actually maybe hurt both parties. So I think both parties are sort of hoping that doesn't happen.
All right.